across these Picasso jigs and I thought, oh, they look pretty good. I'll give them a try. They are made in the USA and they feature ultra point hooks. They come in 1/4 ounce, 3/8 and 1/2 ounce. And I have one out of the box here and I'll give you a good look at it and tell you what it is I like about them. So this is a 3/8 of an ounce and it is a black, blue, and chartreuse. And the first thing I like right off the bat is I like this hook. It's a nice, big, sturdy hook. I don't really care for the ones that have a really small, compact hook, although, you know, I'm sure they have their uses. But for me, I particularly prefer the longer shank hooks with the wider gap here. I like this weed guard. It's just a little thin wire. That's the, not the weed guard, excuse me, the bait keeper here. So I think that'll probably hold on pretty good. Here's the weed guard up here. It's not too long. Sometimes they're really long, but it's not a big deal because you can just trim them down. In fact, I'll probably modify this weed guard a little bit as well. And then we have the skirt. I really like this skirt. It's very similar to the skirt that's made by, I can't think of the name of that company. Pepper Jigs, I think, or something like that. They have a really fine silicone skirt, and this has the same type of skirt material. And I like that because I just like the action it has in the water when you stop it or pause it, just the way it flares out. Now the thicker skirts, the rubber or silicone, either way, they also flare out when you stop. I just personally prefer the way that these finer ones work. So that's that. Now as far as the weight, which is the head here, I think it's pretty detailed. It's painted and you can almost see, the camera doesn't really pick it up very well, but there's like scales painted on that blue in the head, the blue-black head. It does have chartreuse on the chin, has a 3D eye, and then this eye here, which is where you tie the line to, is pretty big and it's sturdy, and I like that too, and I do direct ties, so I appreciate that. Now as far as the rest of the detailing, like the etched in mouth and such, I think that's really to catch the purchaser. I don't think the fish is coming up and saying, oh, it looks like a real mouth, I think I'm gonna bite it. I think that's more for us, but it does make the jig look good. So there we go. Like I said, the black, chartreuse, and blue. And the other colors I have are this one here. This is the blue glimmer shad. I was actually looking for the chartreuse shad, but they were all out, so I picked up this one instead. This one, which is a watermelon camo chartreuse. It's kind of more like a green pumpkin is what I'd call it. Just has a chartreuse on the chin. It's a 3/8 as well. This one is Sunfish. Has a little bit of the purple, a little bit of color underneath. This is Bluegill. And I was actually looking for the one that was sort of this brownish color with just a little bit of orange, but they were out of that as well, so I picked up the Bluegill instead. And this will work in my area as well. I will go back though and get the, I think it's Cross something. And then I took a little video of some of the other colors that they had, which was kind of cool. Now the other item I picked up while I was there was this shock blade, also by Picasso, and it's sort of a, looks like a swim jig, but it has a chatterbait blade on it, like a bladed swim jig, obviously. So let me just get this out of the package and let's have a look at it. And the color on this is Golden Shiner. And the reason I picked that up is while I was fishing the other day, I did see 2 little Golden Shiner bait fish washed up on the rocks. So gave me some indications. Let's get this out of the package. Okay, so here you go. Now what's a little bit different about this than the swim jigs we just looked at is that this has a longer shank on the hook. You can see quite a bit longer here, but I think the hook size itself is about the same. It's just the shank that's longer. Still has a similar bait keeper, but this has a double bait keeper. So you have the standard molded type that we're used to. Let's focus this a little bit here. Right here. Then you also have the wired one, so it's kind of like 2. Not going to lose that trailer. And I think the longer shank is obviously so you can do a nice big boot tail or something a little bit bigger on that. You still have the nice fine silicone skirt, but this has got 2 different lengths of skirt. So you have a shorter skirt here and then the longer center piece. Very nice. And then of course we come to the blade. Like I said, it's very similar to a chatterbait type of blade. It does have the 2 holes in there, which might change things up a bit. Nice little bend on the tip there, so you get a little bit of control on there on the depth. And here's where you attach direct tie again. And that's pretty much your shock blade, they call it. So I think I had a pretty interesting and successful trip, and we'll be very excited to give these a try and see how they actually work in the water.